if the polar opposites of male and female, masculine and feminine, get so distorted that male isn't male and female isn't female, what happens to creation? Like that blow up of the fire energy, being disempowered by that which overpowered us when we were children. Yo! I've never started a video like that ever before. Hello! That's what I say to my friends. And I got it off my kids, yeah. Okay, so hello everybody. This is Tara Love Perry. I am here to talk about self-love as usual. I'm gonna really open the lid on lots of stuff about the divine feminine energy that is rising and rising, and we keep feeling it in waves or ripples or flashes. Maybe it feels like birthing rushes or something to you, I don't know, but I'm going to share how it feels to me. The rising mother energies, the fire, talking about how the issue of boundaries is coming up a lot lately, really, kind of grounding, anchoring our divine, higher spiritual, higher self energies, really anchoring them into the earth, feeling super earth connected, feeling lifted by the mother energies because we're anchored and connected. And when we're not anchored and connected properly, what comes up for us to notice to help get us anchored and connected? And so this is being in your divine feminine power, whether you're a female or a male person, or somewhere in between, or maybe you don't know what you are, and that's completely fine. However, we have these distinct energies. So for example, if you're a male and maybe you have separation wounds, issues, attachment issues with your mother, you felt abandoned, you were taken away from her, and you have that emptiness, that loss, and that's one of your wounds, and that's causing issues in your life, your disconnection from females or your distorted relationship with women or whatever it is. I'm going to talk about that, but also those of you that have got real mother issues where you're angry with your mother, where she wasn't there for you, or whatever it is, however your mother story shows up, it's really amplified right now for a lot of you men. And for us women, I'm just going to say how it is in my realm, okay? If this doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't resonate with you, but you can swap the energies over, okay? I'm sure you're going to still kind of have your own unique version of this story, but similar topics, okay? So feminines, females, a lot more of that, God damn it, I'm not taking any more shit. Enough of Mrs. Kind, empathetic, compassionate, loving, always giving benefit of the doubt. You have my sympathy, you have my empathy. I'm not going to give you a hard time about it. I'm going to make space for that behavior from you in our relationship. I'll put up with it, I'll deal with it, I'll suck it up. And if it hurts me, I'm just going to heal myself. I reckon there are loads of you who relate to this. I just want to say, put your hand up. Hands up if you relate to what I'm saying. Maybe you're not a woman, maybe you're not a female, you're a male and feeling like this. That could also be the case in your feminine nature. It's that, nurturer, mother, take care of everybody, make sure everybody else is okay, put yourself last, feed yourself last, make sure everybody else is taken care of, because that's what we're taught to do as women, right? You find ways when you're a little kid of making it all better so that you're going to survive. You're not going to get hit, you're not going to get hurt, you're not going to get abandoned, they're not going to burn the house down with you in it. And because patterns like this, allowing, the overrunning of boundaries, having so much water energy of that emotional empathy, compassion, higher thinking, spiritually minded, be the bigger person, connect to your higher self, all of that stuff that we're taught, be spiritual, rise above it, right? That's air energy. And it's not grounded And it means that if you're not grounded and in touch with your body and defending that space of, you know, your vessel, your even your mental health and your emotional health, if you're putting everybody else first basically and not ever being protected or defended or being shown healthy boundaries in relationships from your parents in their relationship or in their relationship with you, or not making sure that you were protected, and you know, you have no idea. I know loads of you will relate to this. Really very little idea about how to keep yourself safe, healthy, loved and protected, and to be in healthy relationships, to be in healthy situations, full stop, with all kinds of people. So I'm not just talking your intimate and love relationships, I'm talking about any kind of relationship, business relationship, friendship, whatever, people in the street, it could be anybody. And there's always damage done when we're little babies in the womb. It begins before even our conception, like the pre-conceptual conditioning. I mean, basically the state of our parents' bodies, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, what's being carried in them, so that when they merge, like you rub those two sticks together, what kind of fire are they going to produce? They produced you, the fire of you, the creation of you, basically. And so those conditions were set up with all of their ancestral lineages, all kind of compounding, all the unresolved trauma, all the stuff that never got healed, never got dealt with, got swept under the carpet, blocked up, sealed up, denied, you know, pushed away, whatever. It all kind of stacks up, generation after generation, it backs up like a traffic jam. And then there's all of that tension, all of that unresolved stuff in the parents. My hands are your parents. And, you know, they're like, oh, all this stuff in there, loads of good stuff, obviously, loads of wonderful stuff, but loads of unhealed, unresolved stuff that's been going on for God knows how long. And then they come together, and they make some fire, and you're the product of that. So even before your conception, those conditions are there. They are loaded. It is hugely conditioned, heavily conditioned, right deep down into the DNA, all the way through the soul records. I mean, it's there, right? It's all sitting there. That's what's intense about the moment you're created. There's all that friction. There's all that, and I don't just mean physical with your parents. I mean, there's friction as everything that's kind of the resistant, the repressed, the oppressed, the denied, the don't want to go there, don't want to have to meet my darkness, don't want to have to meet my fears, confront my issues and heal my shadows, all of that. I don't want to, you know, get enlightened and evolve. I don't want to take responsibility and grow up. All of that holding back, all of that resistance, you know, think of a bow and a bow and arrow, pulling back. And then you have the opposite force, because equal and opposite forces always come together, like they sit together side by side all the time. Like every single thing in creation is in harmony. So where there's a huge amount of resistance, there's also going to be a huge amount of creativity, inspiration. Right? This amazing, you know, ADHD kind of energy that's going to be like, let's go, charge, we have to go that way, have to make a difference, got to go and discover the world, or get loads done, can't get enough done, have to do it now, intense, you know. It's like those two energies can feel really bipolar, and then it's like, no, I can't get out of bed, life's awful. You know, they always sit together. And so yeah, this is what I mean by the rub, you know, whatever those opposites are in you. People have always got two opposite energies, one pulling that way, one pulling that way, representing usually the mother and father energies going, resisting the love, resisting the connection, the communication, the intimacy, the transparency, all of that. There's two energies in opposition, the tug, the push, the pull between the masculine and feminine. You know, you get the picture, the rowing couple, the mum and dad tearing each other's heads off, it's like, oh, I want to go this way and you want to go that way, and it's pulling everything apart. It's pulling away the family, it's pulling away the home, pulling each other's emotions to shreds. You know, you've seen the picture. We see it out there all the time. And here it's like, that's the energy, that's the friction that I'm talking about. There's the rub that is hugely creative and yet hugely destructive all at the same time. You know, rubbing two sticks together to make a fire. You know that fire can burn and destroy, and you know that it's creative, it's dynamic, it's activating, it's, you know, super useful. So there's that energy of creation. And I feel like this fire energy, it's interesting actually, I had no idea I was going to talk about sticks and rubbing, but this fire energy is what I'm feeling. And it's like, almost like the intensity of these polarities are heating up. I mean, just get your hands together and just do this with me, you know, join in. Like, rub your hands together. One's mum, one's dad. Don't get too weird about it, you know, or, you know, get weird about it if you want to. Whatever works for you, it's beautiful. But, you know, this creation energy, male, female, masculine, feminine, the polar opposites, but they need each other. We need each other. If we don't have polar opposites, we don't have creation anymore. If the polar opposites of male and female, masculine and feminine, get so distorted that male isn't male and female isn't female, what happens to creation? The robots is what happens to creation. The artificial, the alien, is what happens to humanity. We make a great big space, a tear in the fabric of creation by going, I'm not resisting my feminine urge to feel, to nurture, to soften, right? To have that passive, gentle power. Males resisting, oh, I'm not going to be in my masculine because it's all distorted, and, you know, don't want to be protective, don't know how to be protective, don't know how to show up and provide and make everybody safe. You know, it's like these male-female energies have been so distorted. It's like it's tearing away the fabric of the relationships. It's tearing away the fabric of families, communities, the entire world. We will really destroy our own selves if we continue the way that we're continuing. And that's where I feel these intense surges, rushes coming from Mother Earth. You know, almost as if perhaps she knew that this would happen. Almost like it was pre-planned. How would she know? Don't mothers always know? Isn't there like this awesome kind of amazing symbiotic relationship, the feedback between mother and child? And father and child, I guess. I haven't been a father, so I don't know. But I've been a mother. I still am a mother, so I know. When something's even just a bit off with my kids, and they live an 18-hour flight away from me right now, both of them. 18 hours. They are almost on the other side of the world. And yet, I feel it. I get a dream, I feel it, I call them. It's confirmed. Mummy was right. They're big men now. 23. Sonny's 23 in 2 days. My youngest. Hate it when that does that. Does anybody know how to turn that off? My youngest is going to be 23 in 2 days. My eldest, he's just turned 24 last month before last. They're very close. And they're big, beautiful, powerful, 6'3" men. Absolutely gorgeous. Don't need me doing stuff for them. They're doing it. But it's like, I still feel them. You know this if you're a mum. And it's like you've got that incredible symbiosis, that incredible bonding relationship where when something's wrong with the child, the mother knows. The mother responds. Even if it's just, I need to pray for my kids tonight. I need to wrap them up in a golden bubble of absolute love and surround them with angels and ask all of heaven to go and protect my kids tonight, or to tap my kid on the shoulder when he's doing something that's about to be dangerous and say, shh, shh, don't do that. Whisper in his ear, you know. Or it's like send him a telepathic signal, or send them an emotional, message through the waters. Be careful, don't do that. Or something else, It's like we respond. So where am I going with this? What I'm saying is, what if our Mother Earth, the place where all our bones and minerals and blood and teeth and hair and all of this physical stuff and all of the water in our body comes from, literally all of us, the physical stuff that we can touch anyway, all of it comes from the earth. She is our mother. One day it's all going to go back. And Mother Earth, all elements, and this is wild. I want to talk about this in a minute. This is just wild. But all the elements, everything in nature is conscious. Everything, everywhere, all energy is conscious. Fully conscious, more conscious than we are. We are just becoming conscious of how conscious life is. The planet that literally sustains everything miraculously in perfect harmony, order and design. Who would do that? What kind of being would do that without any consciousness at all, like completely unconscious? No way. That's divine design. That is amazing mother consciousness, where she is multitasking, making sure everybody's good all the time and everything's taken care of and all the systems work and everything feeds one another, and it's completely brilliant, right? Mother Earth is fully conscious, and we're literally just starting to kind of remember that. I think we've forgotten for a very, very long time. But I believe that Mother Earth really feels when we, her children, have really lost that connection, seriously jeopardizing our own futures, our own continuation. And because we are destroying the fabric of our being. Literally, if you're putting, injectable things, medications, pharm and medicine stuff in your body, and I'm trying to be discreet about how I'm describing it, but you know what I'm saying. You put stuff in your body that doesn't come from Mother Earth, that is produced with an agenda to basically disempower you, make you sick and bankrupt you of your life energy, your soul and your wealth, then why would you put that in your body? Why would you trust that for health and well-being? It's craziness. If it doesn't come from the earth, I wouldn't take it if I were you, because everything, there's a lot of things out there that are trying to destroy our connection with ourselves, with our Mother Earth, with one another, like tearing away the fabric of creation. And so I feel like Mother Earth feels that. And we are sending out huge distress signals as the human beings right now, as human collectives. If you could measure, like in decibels or something, the amount of fear coming out of people on the earth right now, that would be, can you just imagine, can you get a sense of how loud that would be? People's anxiety is through the roof. They're blowing fuses left, right and centre. You can see it on the streets. You can see it on the roads. Everyone's gone stark raving bonkers. Daren't go on a dating site these days. I mean, not unless you don't want to come back with your limbs intact and not buried 6 feet under. Just don't. Sorry, maybe that's being a bit dramatic. It's crazy out there, right? There's a proper load of nutcases. Everyone's losing it. Completely disconnected, unplugged, untethered, not connected to their nature, not connected to consciousness, not connected to something solid, real, connected to their senses, connected to one another, not even sure who they are anymore. I mean, worse than usual. It was already bad. Now it's worse. I mean, it's just insane. So her response, any of you parents out there, or just those of you really in touch with your feminine energy, or those in touch with your fire, I'm really feeling this lately. More than ever. And my fire raises up for people I love and care about. I'm immensely defensive, will face off anybody, for my brothers, for my parents, for my children, for my friends. I'm not scared like that. But when it comes to myself, really not so much. I let it go. Like I said in the beginning, I get all washy and weak and a bit I'll just let it go. And also partly because when I tried to stand up for myself as a child, or when I tried to say something, actually I was so little and I was so overpowered that scary things happened that I had no control over. And I only realised, I think about a week ago, that that's still been running out. That's still been playing out, where I haven't stood up for myself so much because of that inner child still feeling frightened of the consequences of what might happen. And so I believe this is also happening for loads of people right now. It's well, what do we do? That fire, that protective fire, like the mother protection, like that father protection that comes in and is going, this is not okay what's happening on planet Earth. This is not okay what's going on with the gendering and the degendering and the sexualizing of children and the destroying of the weather and the manipulation of the sky and the energies and the frequencies and all of that stuff, and the food and the water, and just every single element of nature has been utterly attacked, like an assault on the divine feminine, an assault on nature, on creation. And obviously we as her children, we need all of that stuff too. We are made up of all the elements. We need our elements pure. We don't need false fires started by drones burning up our forests. We don't need laser technology and I don't know if I can spell it out, DW energy. There's all kinds of stuff, our air's messed up, there's all kinds of chemicals out there, seeded in the clouds, it's falling in the water, it's on the earth, it's in the food, it is everywhere. Our elements have been messed up. And if that's not something that stirs us, if that's not something that should stir us and say, whoa, are we going to stop this? And I understand, because I can feel it and I felt it, and there's that fear of, well, what can I do? And if I try and stand up and I try and do something, then they're bigger than me, the bullies are bigger than me, everybody's bigger than me, they're more powerful, what hope have I got? I'm just a little me who's, what can I do? And I believe that's because of things that happened to us as children, made us feel very disempowered, that we couldn't make a difference. And we have to, in order to survive as little kids, we have to tolerate the situation that we're raised in. We can't stand up against it as a 4-year-old and go, don't treat me that way, that's not good, You need to be more like this, this, and this. I mean, maybe the kids are these days, but certainly when I was growing up, you know, old-fashioned me, 70s kid, you couldn't say that. And if you did, it was like you'd get a clip round the ear, or you'd get thrown, you know, from a great height, or you'd get smacked, or you'd get, you know, whatever, no food for a day, whatever it was, whatever your, you know, parents, you know, parental punishment was. You get told off in school if you didn't know the answer to something, or if you didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of fear being activated in us. Not knowing what to do, feeling our entire worlds being torn apart, children being absolutely violated, our innocence being taken from us, from them. What do we do about it? And, you know, I can talk about this on the grand scale, but look at the close-up version. What's happening in your reality? If you look at what's going on in your friendships, where is the fear kicking in? Where is the tearing apart? Where are the boundaries not there? Where is like the codependencies in your work relationship? What behaviors do you put up with because you've got to keep the money coming in, and you're afraid if you don't, you can't stand up for yourself because then you won't be provided for? And it's a bit like mum and dad saying, I'm not going to pay you, I'm not going to feed you. Go to your room without any dinner, and then you're hungry. And it's like the boss is the same. If you don't do as you're told and you don't suck up to how you're being treated and just deal with it, then what? You don't get paid, your family doesn't eat, you know? It's the same thing. It's like we're just more grown up, or bigger bodies, not really more grown up, we just got bigger bodies, same stuff. Whether that's playing out in your relationships and you're stuck in the pattern of your mum and dad's relationship where they're fighting, or they, you know, taking each other for granted, or being codependent, or just being super toxic to one another, whatever their toxic, you know, relationship is. And then you find yourself repeating those toxic patterns in your relationships. And it's like, when are we going to stop? And I know it's like, well, how? And so what's happening for me, I didn't expect to say all that, but what's happening for me, and what I'm really noticing as a sensitive, super empath person, is that it's like, you know, in that movie, The Avatar, and the first one, not the second Waterworld one, the first one, and I can't remember the main blue guy's name, the hero guy, and he's calling, God, all the names have gone out of my head now. He's calling on the Mother Earth, basically. Somebody will tell me what her name is. I've temporarily forgotten. And he's calling on the Mother Nature powers to rally all the animals, to bring all of the nature elements and spirits together, and the birds and the big flyy, you know, dragony type things, all the creatures, all the clans to come together. To stand up against the enemy. And it's a bit like that. It's like, is it called Awaya, something like that. Of course Mother hears. Of course Mother knows. The child is in distress. Her children are in distress, massive distress. And so what's she going to do? What do you do? As a parent, or as just a protective person with your, you know, senses connected and your elements intact, when something you love is under threat, when something you've created that you've worked hard at for millions and millions of years, maybe even billions. You've worked really hard at making something, raising something, creating something, and then it's threatened. You're going to be like, fire, right? You're fire. No way is that going to happen. You will not pass. You are not hurting my child. You are not hurting my children. And it's like that blow up of the fire energy. And that's what I'm feeling. And it's so creative. It's like the fire in my womb, but it's not like burny fire. You know, it's not kind of like the fire you put your hand in and you scald, and it's like bad fire, dangerous, you know, destructive fire. Although it can totally destroy, it's that fire of the sacred. It's like, I don't know, a fire of another element, a spiritual. It doesn't even feel righteous to me. It doesn't even feel like arrogant. It feels like it comes right here from my sacral, in that beautiful soft spot, somewhere just about 2-3 fingers above the top of the pubic bone, like right in there, in the base of the womb, at the top of the cervix, that kind of area. And it goes up into my belly, and it's like, wow, like I'm some big phoenix, and I'm just like, whoo. And this fire just feels like it wants to go on and on and on, like feeling into my energy field, right? It feels like it's just going, let me just go. And I was doing this chakra dance. My beautiful friend and neighbor lives across the road. She did this wonderful chakra dance thingy the other night, and I was dancing with this the fire was in my solar plexus that night, and I was really dancing with it. And then it was like, wow, I suddenly started having these thoughts of like, hold on, my fire, it might go out and burn people. And what if it gets out of control? And what if it gets dangerous? And I realized I'm just in my head. I'm just getting into my ego thoughts and fear about that, my limited mind. And I tell you, I know I'm kind of weaving all over the place with this story, but basically I have a lot of clients, and I had another one today, and their biggest fear is not to go in and face the resistance, face the darkness, the shadow, the part that's holding them back. Their biggest fear, and there's a wonderful quote about this somewhere, the biggest fear is the power that darkness and resistance is kind of protecting them from. You know, it's like, because what's behind all of that fear and darkness and anxiety and resistance? I can't, I'm terrified of actually being so powerful that I'll just scorch the earth. My power will blind people. Some people are afraid of that. My light is so bright, I will literally blind everyone. My power is so great, I will literally hurt people. And there are so many people, trust me, over the years, I've seen a lot of clients with my soul readings and the self-love healing. And it's like, people are terrified of this. And it's like, I'm a bit like, well, what are you waiting for? And what are you waiting for me? I know what you're waiting for. It feels scary. But it's actually not true. It's just the ego trick. It's the ego trap in the mind. And plus it's those deep subconscious dark memories of all the times when you were not yet fully grown. You were too immature. You were too small, too still forming, still weak, you know, in the womb, being born, being a little kid, going through the abuse, dealing with the conditioning of your parents and your ancestors and the toxic relationships and the codependent patterns and all the stuff that happens again and again and again, generation after generation. And it's like, boom, you have to deal with it. And you're going, damn, that's a really heavy burden. That's a shitload of stuff to heal. And I don't even want to look into it because it's just so deep and dark and heavy and horrible and it's never going to end. But we know that on the other side of that is our greatest power. It's like, here we incarnate into angels. We literally get our fiery wings of light. We literally embody our fifth dimensional frequencies. We embody the angelic body. It's like we have a mental, emotional, physical and angelic body. We do. It's a layer. It's right there. And it's like, you know, evolving into that phase of allowing the light of heaven, allowing the fires of the golden fires, the white fires of transmutational, transcendental, transformational, beautiful fires of unconditional love, rapture, of ecstasy and unconditional love, bliss out, peace bombs. This is the real fire. That doesn't do any harm at all. It's not literally like I'm going to go out and start torching things and burning it all to the ground. Although that happens too. And what does that do? It just cleanses, it purifies, it, like composting, it has a really good effect on the soil, changes the composition, makes things grow again. Nature. It's just nature. It's the falsification of the elements that are scary. The man-made weapons that are posturing as pretending that it's natural fire when it's not. Pretending that the way that the sun shines through the sky these days and through all those layers of chemicals is natural when it is not any longer. Right? It's not. That's what we're afraid of, is the unnatural. We're afraid of that being disempowered by that which overpowered us when we were children or when we were lesser developed as a species. Long time ago, other beings controlling, trapping, enslaving humanity because we were less evolved. But we're grown-ups now, people. This is the golden age. This is the great age of awakening. This is where Mother Earth is calling her warrior cry, calling all her children to wake up and come home to her. Come home to the bosom of the Mother Earth. Come home to the nurture, to the nature, to the safety, to the protective haven of the womb of the Divine Mother. Get reconnected to your heart, body, and soul. Reclaim your heart, body, and soul and defend it with a blazing, fiery, fierce passion of raging love. That's how I defend what's precious to me. And this is what's raising in me like a phenomenal phoenix from the ashes for about the 79th time. And here she comes again, and it's like, that is never going to happen again. I get it now. I've explored the ashes of my demise so many times. I've gone into, it's like if I could go into the molecular detail, the forensic, the super forensic, genetic, mitochondrial, looking down the microscope into my DNA, into the psychology, into the root miasms of the fated and the diseased contracts and conditions in my ancestral lineages. I've been there. And there's probably still more, but man, I've explored it far, deep and wide. Like if I was an enormous oak tree and I've got huge big roots that go out that are really deep and really widespread, it's like I've been traveling really intensely down those roots for the last couple of years, more than usual. It was like time to get deep, time to roll up the sleeves and go, over my dead body, is this ever happening again? And it will not happen over my dead body, because I will not go down without bouncing back up, and it got close for a minute, I have to tell you. Some of you might remember that in April, end of April 2022, I did some videos really randomly, and I wasn't planning to, I just did it, and then I took them down again and then put them up again and then took them down again, and my family were upset with me and they didn't want me to have those videos out, and people were like freaking out thinking I'd lost my mind. But basically I'd escaped from a relationship that had had me ping-ponging backwards and forwards for 12 years. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And this was the most destructive, toxic, abusive relationship. I think the real cream of the crop. It was a real good one for that. But the thing is, there was also so much attraction that I just kept saying, I'll suck it up, I'll deal with it. I don't care. Because there's something totally magnetic here. And I'm not done. I'm not resolved. I still need to be in this relationship. And God knows why, because it's horrific and I get horrendously treated. And, you know, I'm trying to fight my corner and God, it's awful. And then I end up the worst parts of me coming out and I'm just like yelling and just, oh, it's horrible. But this is something that I went through because I really needed to understand. I really needed this polar opposite, twin flame, like very powerful, talk about friction, right? Talk about incredible dynamic potential. But like, we just clashed so badly. And when we clashed, it was horrific. And when we came together and it was good, it was magnetic and amazing. And there was so much work, you know, so much so that I was almost prepared to stay with that for the rest of my life and just take the rough with the smooth, because the good parts were so good. That's what I wanted. That's what I thought I wanted. But realizing that actually that relationship was way more destructive than it was creative. So much so that after about a year and a half in that last part of the relationship, actually it was more like a year, I no longer recognized myself. I was in real trouble and I was calling friends and saying, I'm not myself anymore. I don't know who I am. I've lost touch with myself. Because being in those abusive, toxic relationships can do that to you. And you know, not that I'm being all victimy about this. I totally own my shit, right? This was like, talk about being each other's equal and opposite mirrors and each reflecting each other's best and worst qualities. It was very much like that. And I love this person. However, understanding why I got there in the first place, understanding what drew me to that toxic relationship and kept me in that pattern, took me into those deep, dark tunnels, those deep, dark roots of my ancestry, my psychology, my family genetics, you know, all that forensic, deep, deep, deep stuff, and going, what are the elements? What has created this in me to keep attracting this and get completely addicted to it so I can't ever let it go? And I'm not that much of an addictive personality. It's not like I get easily hooked on stuff. So it was like, because this was a drug of a different kind. This was like, you know, you call it the sacred wound, or the other thing's gone out of my mind. What do you call it? Just a toxic attachment, basically. Somebody else, somebody clever will be thinking exactly what I'm thinking and write it down. So basically, yeah, that person was my mirror, my total nemesis, but my total angel at the same time, and allowed me to realize and go on that journey of why I was repeating this pattern. And so since I left that relationship I left the relationship in January 2022, but left the house in end of April 2022. So what's that? April, May, it's 2.5 years. And in that time, you guys have not seen very much of me. And when I am coming out doing a video and talking about something, it's because I'm really inspired and lit up and have so much to talk about. I literally get inspired every single day. I could talk to camera to you like this every day with all the inspirations and energies and things that I'm feeling. However, I just wasn't ready. I just sort of couldn't find my voice, couldn't find my flow, didn't know how I should do it, what it should look like, was trying to figure it out. And basically just, you know, in that place of not quite ready to kind of come out. Was a little bit and then not, and then a little bit and then not, and just overthinking it a lot and just, yeah, not feeling ready, feeling scared in some ways. And now it's like so many pieces. It's like the fabrics come back together for me. It's like going into what really happened, mending and healing, like from real deep down. Like if you have a tear in the fabric, it's like it starts and then connects like this. And it's like starting right deep down, like when you're doing a zip up, right? You've got to fiddle around and get the little thingy in the bottom and fit until it fits, and then you can zip back up again. So it's been like going right deep down that fiddly little bit into tiny little detail, going, what's that about? Heal, clean, clean, heal, heal, restore, mend, love, fix, you know, with all the self-love, healing, compassion, and all the stuff using I Love You Me method. What a godsend, what a blessing that I was given this incredible, mind-blowing, profound healing technique that's, I'd be here for a week telling you all the things it's helped me heal from. Physical, mental and emotional and spiritual, genetic, you know, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, using this method and healed my own, it's like my own fabric has come back together. My senses realizing where my masculine and feminine energies, coming back to the beginning of this video, were ripped apart in that massive tug of war. That fight, the longest standing war, I think, on earth, has been between the male and the female, the masculine and the feminine, the patriarchal, the matriarchal, who's more powerful, who's better, who's gonna better take charge of the world, who can kill the other one, who can live without the other one, you know, it's like psychotic. And so really like healing my masculine, feminine energies, weaving, healing, restoring myself back. And as I do that more and more, it's like everything's starting to make sense. I'm seeing things that I never saw before, realizing patterns that I was so deeply ingrained in me I could not see them, and I was repeating them and feeling like an idiot over and over and over again, so embarrassed, so ashamed, can't believe I did that again, oh my god, everyone can see me, oh my god, I should know better because I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a blah, I'm a blah, I'm a blah. It's like, oh my god. And it's like, no, I didn't see it. Same as you guys, you know, won't be seeing your stuff. You know you're repeating these horrendous patterns. You're feeling ashamed. You're feeling embarrassed. Oh, it's excruciating. You've done it again. How could you be so stupid? You fell for that again. You didn't see it coming. Oh, and you keep thinking you're learning. And you are. But the thing is, this stuff goes deep. And so basically, I've been getting this fire, like I said, the last week. And it's just been talking to me. It's like Mother Earth energy. I can really feel her. It's like lighting a fire under my behind, you know, like a rocket up my, what's it, hoo-ha. And Mother Earth energy is just like, go out there and do it. Like, let's not stand for this anymore. Now I'm in a place, like a brand new place. I've never been in this place in my life before. And some of you might think, well, God, that took you a long time and you talk about self-love and you didn't love that about yourself. No, I didn't. I didn't know how to create boundaries. I didn't know how to look after myself and protect myself and not keep going into the same trap with certain relationships with certain kinds of people, especially men and males. And it's like, wow, I get it now, you know? And it's like this new fire in me where it's for my sacred boundaries. It's for my sacredness as a woman, as a female, as a human being, as a creatress, as a being of love on this earth. It's like the fire, the raging fires of Mother Earth's, like I said, that fierce, protective, it's not from ego, it's comes from here, that love, to like envelop me in this amazing, like a fiery dancing lotus that's like full of spirit, full of her energy, her spirit. And I just want to share this energy. And I want to validate those of you that are maybe feeling something similar, whether you're male or female. It's just like, just so that you know, maybe I've helped you find words for it. Maybe I've helped, validate and articulate something that you couldn't really articulate yourself. Or maybe it's just total confirmation that yes, we're feeling the same thing, because we are all connected, and we're hearing this call, we're feeling the call, we're hearing the alarm siren of Mother Earth, and it's like the carrion call of wake up, it's time to jump out of your sleeping bags, little sleeping babies, little sleeping angels who've been having horrible dreams about how awful the world is and how awful everybody's been to us, and we've been going through this horrible metamorphosis or this horrible gestation in this very dark, lonely, broken, dark night of the soul kind of place. Feels like for eons, those of us that are old souls that are like, oh my God, when's it going to end? And it's like, whoop, pop out of the sleeping bags, pop out of your little pods, come on. It's time. I mean, I guess it's always time. Now is always a good time to be creative and be brilliant, right? And to get your ass in gear and to, be shiny and be you. But right now it's like there's these energies comes in troughs and peaks. And it's like right now we're like, it's almost like that. It's almost vertical. And it's getting more and more so. And soon it'll just be straight up. It'll just be like, we're in divine now o'clock and there is no time. We'll be in that place before you know it. But while that's still becoming apparent and visible to us, that nowness, we are still experiencing this feeling of journeying, of past and future, and going, gotta deal with my past, gotta heal that ancestral stuff, gotta heal the mother-father wound, gotta heal the conception rub. It's like, instead of these two being friction and destroying and, destroying you, now they have to be working together. These two sticks of you, your male, female, have to be friends, to be creative, to make that brilliant fire of your genius come alive, to make your heaven on earth paradigm a reality. You are needed. You are the creator of your particular flavor of divine heaven on earth reality. And we've all got our own spot. It's like ambassadors, beautifully located, with our little groups and teams or big groups and teams. Like, there is stuff to be done. And it's like, pop out of those sleeping bags of fear, pop out of that sleep of I'm not enough and it's all going to be awful and my power will destroy people, so I better keep everybody safe and hidden. And it's like, no, that's not really true. We know that's ego. That's nonsense. Nothing. You're not destructive. Our lack of engagement, our lack of waking up, our lack of connection, our lack of taking responsibility for our own well-being, for our unhealed stuff that came all zipped up in this little suit right here, in this little sleeping bag of this body, where you forgot who you are and you're all in your dark bubble in the dark cave with all the soupy, nasty, shadowy ancestral stuff. It's like, this is the metamorphic soup of the caterpillar. It's all good stuff. Eat it up. Eat it up. Use it. Transform it. Love it. Digest it. Allow yourself to transform it with your light, with your love. You want my help? I help you do it. I run groups like this all the time. I've got a new one about to start, can only take 8 people, in fact 7, because somebody joined today, the first person. I only launched it last night. And it's for 8 people, 7 people. It's called Birthing into the Light Body. You can ping me a message or I'll leave a link below if you're interested in looking that up. It's an 8-week metamorphic healing journey to resolve the masculine and feminine mother and father stuff, birth stuff, inner child stuff, as much as we can do anyway in an 8-week period. It's going to be intense. Come prepared. Yeah, it's always intense, and it's always deeply, deeply transformational and powerful. Yeah, it's just time. It's time to just face the fear. It's not real. It's an illusion. It's a total illusion. Breathe. Stay with it. Be conscious. I feel like this is so much fun. To come out the other side of my own personal major metamorphosis stage, phase, is so liberating. So liberating on so many levels. I feel like it's just time to dance and play and light up and just do it together. You know, there's nothing more fun than playing like a little kid with all the other kids. Like all the butterflies dancing together, all the animals coming out on a beautiful spring morning, and it's like all the daisies waking up together first thing in the morning and embracing the sun. And you know, it's like that wonderful feeling of like, let's all come together and do it together. Let's all be instruments in the orchestra of creation. Let's all be stars twinkling together in the night sky, totally unafraid of the dark, and in fact embracing it as a beautiful aspect of our Mother and our Father, Creator. And yeah, I think that's it. I've run dry. That's it, finally.